right, so here's the deal. I know I'm not beating the exhaust shop allegations with this video. yet another exhaust, I know. Listen, I want to do stuff other than exhausts as well, but here's the deal. It's what people want, especially as a new fabrication shop. It's the easiest thing, it's the most common thing that people want for their cars. So if people want an exhaust, I'll make it an exhaust. And I'm gonna make the video. It's content, you know, but it is another exhaust. This one's a little different, at least. You looked at the title and the thumbnail, you already know. GTR, built engine? This is pretty crazy. This will be the most expensive car I've ever had in my shop, most expensive car I've ever touched. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm excited to be able to make some big exhaust. 4.5 inch, 4 inch. Probably going to be a shorter video. Pretty sure we're just making a Y-pipe for this customer. Pretty much his current exhaust is all 4 inch, but one section, the Y-pipe, goes down to a 3 inch. And you know, when you're making big power, a dual 3 inch isn't enough, which is just crazy to say out loud. So I don't know, we're kind of just gonna play it by ear. I'm probably not gonna be driving this car or doing anything like that, like I did on other customers' cars, because I don't want to crash it. I had a dream last night. I was driving the car on an icy road and I crashed it. So we're just not even gonna risk that, even though it's in the middle of summer. In the meantime, a couple other things. You can really only see it in certain lighting, but that's the whole point. Nice stealth black on black Ium Industries shirt. Honestly, I just made these for myself because I wanted to be able to wear an Ium Industries shirt every day for like my shop, you know, to represent. And I don't like the button up work shirts, and I don't like when they're not black on black, because then I just ruin them. But I put these on the website if you're interested. And then we also have things like just a nice little simple design, signature tee. I've had these for a while, but I've never really shown them on video. Perfect for the summer. Got them in a lot of cool colors, pink, light purple, light yellow, and like a wash denim. But I'm gonna take this off because I'm gonna ruin it. All the merchandise now is comfort color tees, at least the t-shirts are. I was sick and tired of those cheap, thin t-shirts. I love comfort color tees. They are a little heavier, so a little warmer, but they don't wrinkle nearly as bad. They don't like stretch, and they actually last. But now let's check out this GTR. Hey, yo, bro. Why is this guy bringing it to me, eh? How's it going? Ronnie?
Yeah, Ronnie.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, man.
If you're cool, we can just pull it right in.
It's still a stock crank 3.8 liter, but it's like stage 2 built heads, GSC S3 cams, was it Feria, springs, retainers, stainless valve springs, all that stuff. So,
wow, so it's a
valves, I mean.
Pretty much fully built, besides forged crank. You know how much power it makes? So
I'm currently in the middle of a new tune setup, and that's part of why I'm getting the exhaust done. Okay. The end goal is to make 15. The turbo kit on it.
Is that to the wheels?
Yeah, to the wheels.
Damn.
And that's about the limit. It's kind of over the limit, but that's like the general limit for stock crank, like max effort builds. Is
that like built trans and stuff too?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say. I mean, I know these platforms are pretty crazy in terms of what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, it's pretty mild for a lot of cars out in this area.
I know, and that's ridiculous. How is 1,500 wheel horsepower mild? And I mean, it looks like it's a nice still street car and stuff too. Like you haven't ruined it in that ways. So that's awesome. Yeah,
that's the goal. Just fun street car and occasional, track stuff. That's it.
Fun street car with 1,500 wheel horsepower. That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. So we're under this GTR. And this is what we're working with. This is what we're replacing. So this is the Y-pipe. Combines the 2 downpipes from the 2 turbos into the single exit for the exhaust. Now the thing is, this thing's making so much steam that it has 4-inch downpipes. But this Y-pipe he's got necks down with these weird adapters to a twin 3-inch. Pretty much right now, when he turns up the boost, he says the car is knocking, and he believes it is from the excessive heat and back pressure caused by this restriction. And nobody makes a Y-pipe for this setup, I guess. So he had to call the best fabricator in Athens, Georgia, located at 2025 Athens or Atlanta. First thing we have to do is just remove it, measure things, and get everything ordered, because we're reusing some of these V-bands and we have to adapt to some of these V-bands, and I want to make sure we get the right stuff. We're also replacing this back V-band because it's MIG welded, and he said he hit it, because it is definitely the lowest thing on this car. I got to go ahead and remove this carbon splitter. Honestly, this is such a cool car because it's a supercar, but it's still a Japanese car, so it's easy to work on. It's great. Let's come forward a little bit. There we we go, and then it comes down. Ooh, got the carbon tray off. So now we can remove this, I guess this axle back section of the exhaust. I'm noticing it does go back down to a dual 3-inch back here, so. Damn it, this sucks. Man, that's a pretty big tube. Whoever put American SAE size V-bands on a Godzilla, you should be ashamed of yourself. Keep this metric, please. I ain't got no SAE tools. I mean, I ain't gonna try though. No, that ain't happening. Never in my life did I think I was gonna be doing one of these moves on a GTR. Let's go. Ooh, and there she goes. Dang. If anything should be titanium is this. This thing's heavy. I mean, those are some massive downpipes. You ever been able to do the fist test on a downpipe? That's wild. I could put my forearm up into the turbo. So we got the Y-pipe and the mid-pipe removed out of this GTR here, but now we've had a little bit of a change of plans. So the owner of this car wanted to remove the dual 3-inch section from the Y-pipe. Well, it turns out, you didn't know this and I didn't really know this, the back section also goes into a dual 3-inch. And so if you're trying to remove the dual 3-inch, it doesn't really help just doing it in part of the exhaust. You want to do it for the entire exhaust. And so he said, go ahead and remake the entire exhaust. Then he can sell it as one piece. We can remove all the dual 3-inch. It'll be 4-inch throughout, which is kind of crazy. But so that's what we're gonna do. We're now going to do a full exhaust on this thing. And he was also like, hey, make a custom set of dump tubes that he can put on for a track day that just pretty much dump right out the downpipe. And those are gonna be made out of titanium. So it's gonna be my first time welding titanium, working with titanium. Very exciting, and a 4-inch exhaust, also very exciting. Now, I'm gonna leave this here for now, just to have an idea of kind of where I'm trying to build towards. And I'm actually going to put the carbon tray back up here as well, because it has a very narrow passage for the 4-inch exhaust. It's probably got about 1/4 of an inch on each side. So we wanna build it right in that passage. All right, we got the carbon diffuser back on with the old exhaust. So now we can, see the clear path where we have to make this new exhaust. Off camera, I also went ahead and harvested the V-bands for the 4-inch downpipes from the old adapters. You can see those are up there. I mean, that's the craziest view ever. It's still so crazy to me. But in addition to that, all of our metal just showed up. But real quick, let me take a moment to thank this video's sponsor, Welding. Welding is a company that offers smart security systems for your home. And they're committed to transforming home security through advanced, reliable, user-centric solutions. Now, you've heard me talk about Welding before, and I've showed off numerous of their high-tech cameras, their 4K outdoor camera, their doorbell, their indoor camera, but I'm here to show you one of their newest products, the Welding Elite Floodlight Wi-Fi. The Elite Floodlight Wi-Fi breaks through the traditional separation of lighting and security solutions. It's all in one. The camera on the Elite Floodlight Wi-Fi is a 180-degree view, ultra-wide coverage, 4K camera. It specializes in capturing a really large area, a full panoramic 180-degree view. As you can see from the back of my shop, it literally captures the entire line of storage units, but it does it without sacrificing quality. The floodlight on the Elite Floodlight Wi-Fi is also really awesome because A, it's really bright, up to 3000 lumens. B, you can adjust the color temperature of the light, whether you want it cooler or warmer. And C, it has smart features. You can schedule it, so it turns on at certain times of the day. You can have it turn on when it detects motion, or you can have it so it just turns on at night. The Elite Floodlight Wi-Fi also has a few other neat features. For one, Reolink's new AI search feature. Instead of scrolling through all of your file history, trying to find one specific moment or one specific thing, you can now search for specific clips by just typing in a few keywords, and the AI video search will help you locate the exact thing you're looking for quickly. So I can search for white truck, and it'll give me all the footage that has a white truck in it. Oh, boom, there I am. That was easy. And you can do all of this through their free app with no subscription required. And to me, that is still one of the best things about Reolink. You can have this comprehensive security system without having to pay a monthly subscription. All of the videos, all of the data gets stored locally on an SD card on your home hub, free mobile app, free desktop app. You can access your file locally through the SD card. It's awesome, and I've been loving having it here at the shop. It really gives me a peace of mind knowing that, especially now that I have customer cars in here, everything's being recorded in case anything happens. All of the entrances of the shop are covered in case someone tries to break in. And especially with this new Elite Floodlight Wi-Fi, that should be all good to go. So if you guys are interested, you can shop now and shine a light on any intruders before they get too close. Check out the links in the description and up there in the cards to check out the Elite Floodlight Wi-Fi or any other of Reolink's products. Huge thank you again to Reolink for sponsoring this video and helping keep the shop safe. Let's get back to it. I wouldn't say this is the craziest looking order of metal we've gotten, at least not in video, but in person it's wild because all this stuff is so massive. Look at this flex pipe. Very short, but that's like the length of a normal flex pipe. But I can wear it as like a freaking arm bracer. My biceps are not 4 inches in diameter. Uh-oh. Oh God. Oh no. Oh fuck. It went on so easily. Got it off. We're all good. This exhaust we're doing is a straight pipe. 0 mufflers, 0 resonators. That's what he wanted. It's certainly gonna be loud. But since it's such a big diameter, it's not gonna be raspy. And for Christ's sake, it's a 1500 wheel horsepower GTR, so I don't think we have to worry about it sounding too bad. I removed all the tips from the old section and polished them up pretty nicely. The before and after turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Everything is gonna be 4-inch besides the tips. They neck down to 3-inch just at the tips. But if you do the math, that flows more than a single 4-inch, so we're all good there. The thing I'm really excited about is the pipe that I've just been avoiding here at the front. This is titanium. My first time holding titanium, first time seeing titanium. This thing is so light. I mean, it is literally like half a pound, and it's 3 feet long. Not only that, listen to this. Very different tone. See, this is more tingy. So that's all gonna be one exhaust, and this is gonna be one exhaust. We're waiting on a few more parts for the titanium section, but for now, we're gonna start working on this 4-inch exhaust. Come off the downpipes, flex pipes, Y-pipe, through the car. This is gonna sound crazy. Fairly certain I just gotta come off of these downpipes with a little 45-degreer. All right, there's 45. That should be perfect. I think we're gonna run into the annoyance of working with a 4-inch pipe pretty quickly. Wouldn't fit in my new bandsaw. Too big, at least until I cut the U off. Damn, this one UJ pipe weighs like 10 pounds, I swear. A little jank, but it works. But man, when a pipe's larger in diameter, there's more surface area for that blade to walk. It just doesn't have a very straight cut, so I'm gonna have to spend more time on the bandsaw. At least that's easier. I'm gonna get this one tacked to the driver's side V-band, then we can go from there. New bigger gas cup to make sure these welds really get the shielding they need, especially when it comes to titanium. So like the first question is, are these two pipes parallel? Pretty dang good. The problem is that the down pipes are actually coming out at different heights, so it can't be perfect. So I'm gonna tack the other V-band. Damn it, I tacked it on wrong. It's so freaking crooked. Gotcha. Gotcha. We're now going to use my bracelets. Oh yeah, plenty of room. There's a solid 1/2-inch gap there. So that's sweet. We'll do that. And then the Y-pipe will be right here. And then we got golden shot. Nice. So I think really before adding anything to these downpipe starters or this Y-pipe starter, I really should weld them, but I want to make sure everything is kind of going to be lining up and seeming good before welding these up. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Y-pipe. We're going to tack together the Y-pipe that's going to go right here. Now the nice thing about this Y-pipe is that we should really be able to make it with one single U-tube. U-tube. U-pipe. Is it a tube or is it a pipe? It's a tube. Pipe. I don't know. The reason for that is because we are not changing diameters. We're going from a dual 4-inch into a single 4-inch. Now the reason why we're doing that is because really the next available size of piping after 4 inches is 5 inches. And that was going to cause a good amount of issues with ground clearance on this GTR, and the owner didn't want to do that. But chop, chop. Now that I don't have a piece that's overlapping, it's just one piece, we can use the new saw. The idea here with this saw is that it will, for one, cut perfectly straight. I swear I've been trying to get this thing to cut straight for an hour because it's all mounted in a jig. Secondly, because it's all mounted in a jig, I can get like marking blocks and cutting jigs, pretty much 3D printed pieces that will place the pipe exactly where I want to get certain degree cuts, certain Y-pipe cuts, like all sorts of things. And the other nice thing is that as it cuts, I can just kind of go and do something else. It should shut off once it gets down. This one was only 300 bucks. It's just such an utter piece of shit. Got the Y-pipe tacked together and kind of placed up there, and it's fitting just absolutely perfectly. Perfectly lined up, V-bend go right there, boom, and out the back. Now I'm gonna go ahead and remove everything, weld it up separately, then put it back in, tack it together, then pull it back out, weld it fully up. I've really learned that the less welds you do at a time, the less warping you get. So you really want to be welding each seam as it's done. Sometimes, in order to make sure a part's parallel straight down the car, got to get the right point of view. I think that's pretty good. All right, tack that in. Ah, beautiful. The Y-pipe is done, besides welding these V-bands, but I don't want to weld these V-bands until I have the male version I can clamp to so that they don't warp. Now, let it be known they're already warped, so whichever company manufactured the little adapters that I harvest those off of, tisk tisk tisk, but I don't want to warp them more, so we're gonna wait. Bought a $90 flange just so I could weld this without warping it. Because that's what Ium Industries does, all right? So let's throw it in the car. So of course, FedEx has seemingly lost the next piece I need to continue this exhaust, the straight 4-inch stainless steel pipe. Man, nothing worse than FedEx losing stuff and delaying your project when it's just your own project. When it's a customer project, it makes it even worse, because then you have to tell the customer, like, hey, sorry. But all the titanium stuff did arrive. So this actually kind of works out. We can take this off, start on these titanium dump tubes, get those finished, and then when we do build the exhaust, it can just stay in. We don't have to take it out to do the titanium dump tubes. But titanium. Just gonna check, make sure this titanium flange is right. Nice. Titanium's weird because like it's as light as aluminum, but you can feel it's still hard. Like aluminum, it feels soft. So there's a couple things to know about titanium. For one, even just this kind of stuff is expensive. And it doesn't really come in mandrel bends. So a lot of the times you have to use straight tubing and do pie cuts, which is why you see most titanium stuff is pie cut. And also that's why it's so expensive to have someone fabricate with titanium. So I have this amount to make 2 dump tubes with. Not a lot of room for error. In fact, 0 room for error. The first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and mark halfway. So when you're doing pie cuts, you have to have 2 lines marked 180 degrees apart. So those are the top and the bottom of the tube. Pretty much what you do is you'll set your saw up at a certain angle, you'll do a cut, rotate the pipe 180 degrees, do a cut. So it's making a bunch of little triangles, and then you stack those triangles up on the skinny side or the thick side to get the desired curve. Just gonna test this by cutting this in half, and that'll be a good way to start. Looks like it's ripping. Honestly, that cut really nice. But I don't know, you can kind of tell it's like, like there's something, I don't know if it's in the blade or what, like it's caught every rotation. Is that straight? It doesn't look super straight, to be honest. Yeah, what the fuck? It's like a big gap down there and then it's tight down there. Did it? God, I hate this thing. Why is it doing this? So I'm gonna try changing the blade with a little bit of a higher quality blade that I have. See what happens. Hello, what the fuck? Oh, it's supposed to have gotten bent out. So yeah, better, but like this thing is crooked as fuck now. I think I got the bandsaw dialed, at least dialed enough. I did a bunch of test cuts just straight to make sure the blade was cutting straight down the pipe. And then I did a couple of pie cut tests with stainless and turned out great. These are 15-degree pie cuts. Very flat, very uniform, and I think this is what we can, this is what we want. Ah! Stop! Why are you doing that? Oh my God, bro. I mean, I think it's fine, but it wasn't going so hot. So I went ahead and put a rubber pad on both the clamping surfaces. So it's actually rubber holding this thing in. I think that will hopefully help it from rotating. And then I'm just gonna manually feed the saw this way. All right, well, I'd say that worked better. Well, despite some sketchiness with the blade catching, it actually was cut totally fine. I cleaned these up and they are looking really good. I mean, very, very straight, very, very nice. So we're gonna go ahead and make, I think we're gonna start with 5 on each one, so 90 degrees worth, because the pipe kind of has to do a little bit of an S, so that should be plenty. All right, I was wrong. It actually got significantly worse the more I cut with that blade. By that last cut, it was about ready to rip the piece of titanium out of the saw, which is really annoying because this blade, that was probably the 8th cut I've done on this blade. Every time I'm using lubrication, I am feeding the saw pretty reliably, like I'm not forcing it down really strong, and it's still just chewing up these blades. I think it's because I'm using a little bit too low of a TPI. So I have a new blade. Instead of 14 TPI, it is 24 TPI. So we're gonna throw that in there and try to do a few more of these cuts. So I was able to cut 5 more pie cuts relatively successfully with this new blade. After I cut those, I went ahead and kind of taped this piece together with the titanium V-band flange here. So this is gonna be the start of one of our race pipes, is what I'm calling them. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna start with 3 and then a straight section and then probably another 3 going down. So very simple, just like a little S. The thing about this titanium is it's so thin and flimsy that it's kind of warped. I'd say that turned out really good. I like it a lot. Just the very first tack I fucked up. So I taped what's left of the straight pipe onto the end of this to kind of get an idea. This is kind of what we're working with here. I'm kind of thinking we just turn down right about here and dump right about here-ish. Customer just said he wanted turn downs. It's gonna be turning down. So that is one of the titanium race pipes all tacked together and put in there. I mean, it's very simple. It's just like a little S that will dump above the floor of the car. Allows the exhaust just to go down instead of, in there where just the downpipes dump. Now, I'm gonna build pretty much another one right next to it, nice and symmetrical. Then I'm gonna weld them up and I will probably put on some Ium tags, and I kinda wanna make a way so they can bolt to each other so they're always in the same orientation. We'll see if I have enough titanium sheet metal to do that. I'm gonna do a little titanium test weld on the end of this tube. I went ahead and wire brushed it and acetoned it. And I'm not shielding it right now, so I don't know if that's gonna cause any issues either. I'm just kind of practicing a little bit. Whoa. It's so shiny. What the heck? So the only thing I think I noticed is that the puddle is a little bit harder to tell. It's a little bit harder to see the difference between the puddle and the normal metal. But it welded pretty good from what I can tell. Well, I'd say that turned out pretty dang good. Are they the best titanium welds in the world? Certainly not. I wish I had a bigger gas cap. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, I'm gonna torch it. This is the finished driver's side one, all done with the titanium Ium tag. That turned out great. Now it's time to do it again. You can see the little before and after, all the color effects and welding and stuff. So the race pipes are installed and I finally got the remaining stainless I need to finish the exhaust. Unfortunately, I had just to overnight another piece from Summit Racing because FedEx lost the other one. But before we take these race pipes back off and start working on the rest of the exhaust, I think we should hear how it sounds. Now I asked the owner if I could start it and rev it. He said yes. Man, it's been on the list so long I forgot how nice this thing looks. I mean, He said to put it in a neutral before starting it. There goes that loud ass fuel pump. Oh my God. Oh, it's loud as fuck. I feel like I need earplugs for this. Like, it's so loud, you can't even hear what it is. It's just noise. Oh. Oh, those turbos scream. Whoa. Seems like that's the highest it lets me rev it. Yeah, that thing sounds sick. Easy as that. Oh, that's sick. Well. I swear I've been trying to get this thing to cut straight for an hour. By the time I get it to cut straight, I'm gonna need to fucking replace the blade and have to line it all over again. It's just so awful. I was like, how bad can a $300 bandsaw be? Fucking bad, man. I don't know why I'm showing you all this, but I've just never been more frustrated in my life. It's like, not only is it not cutting straight, but it's also, it's just, these cuts are so bad. Just watch, I bet you I'm gonna get a better cut on the fucking portaband from Harbor Freight, by the way, like $100. Notice how you can see the Sharpie just barely along the entire edge? It's because I split the Sharpie line down the entire edge by hand in 3 minutes. I'm getting rid of that thing. I don't care if I have to throw it away. It's just such an utter piece of shit. God. All right, let's continue. Well, after a lot of pieces, we got our exhaust pretty much lined up with the old exhaust. Hugs this plastic under tray pretty much as close as I can be. Now is honestly the hard part I've been kind of nervous about. We have to make this quad exit exhaust. Let me get this tray back off and show you. So I think I'm just gonna pull it out and pretty much replicate it on the table the best I can, and then put it in the car, mount it, connect it. So the difficulty of building this really comes down to this section. On the one that we make, this part has to be 4 inches, but it has to get down to 3 inches. 3 to 4 inch transition. So if that, kind of lines up right there. See, even then, the problem is that the radius of this 4-inch tubing is much higher than the radius of the 3-inch tubing. Unfortunately, I think there's really only one option. We're gonna have to do some tight pie cuts right here, fit this right there, right? So this will be all 4-inch. This one will be easy because we'll just get a 3-inch corner and plop it onto the 4-inch corner. As long as it splits off while the main tube is still 4 inches, we won't be losing any flow. I'm gonna start off by building the Y-pipe right here in these straight sections, all nice and parallel. Then we can do the pie cut 4-inch transition section, and then the 3 inches off the end. I've definitely lost a few hours of sleep thinking about this over the past week. I swear to God, sometimes I just wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, how am I gonna do that section? Like that's what my brain goes to. It's a blessing and a curse. So we got our fully welded up Y-pipe right there, which is, you know, that little piece. I mean, that is certainly restrictive right there. For 1500 horsepower, yeah, no. Now we have to do these long straights into these corners. Look at how far that sticks out. So we gotta make some more pie cuts. Now, thankfully when I was setting the bandsaw up earlier, I made 2. So now instead of needing 10, we only need 8, but we do still need 8 pie cuts. And since the bandsaw is down and out of count, it's hiding in the corner of shame, and I can't afford the new one I want, 1,200 bucks. Hey, if you want to support Patreon, please check it out. But no, we're gonna use the chop saw. The problem with the chop saw is it's loud, scary, violent, and the blade gets dull really fast, especially on thick stainless. And the blades for that thing are like 80 bucks. It's ridiculous. From Harbor Freight, it's ridiculous. These literally took 2 hours just to cut and tack together. Not even weld, but look how perfect they are. They are literally perfect. I'm very proud of these. All just to clear some tips and some 4-inch pipes, but you can see how much tighter it makes the turn compared to this. I mean, it's not that much different, but that 1.5 inches, that 2 inches, that's what we needed. So now we can do some measuring and some math. 1,215. We can then add up a couple of measurements over here. 130, 286. And then you take the overall width of the other one, subtract all of that. We're left with 669. Now the Y-pipe doesn't go in the middle, it's offset as you can see. The driver's side is about 42% of the overall length, 267.6. So that's our answer. One straight piece has to be 267 millimeters. The other straight piece has to be 401.4 millimeters. Math. And now, we just put it all together. So we got the Y-pipe part all welded up. Welding this entire thing took me 2 hours and used 1/4 of my tank of gas, so it's a little rough. But I also added the hangers, that all lines up. This part of the exhaust fits great. Now we have to add the 3-inch second section. So I kind of marked where we're going to notch, and we're gonna give it our best shot. So I got both of these tacked in. Nothing's cut, you know, like this pipe is still solid. I just tacked them in so we can see if the tip placement is right. If it is, I'll mark it and, you know, trim everything and fully weld it. All right, the good news is that like the heights and everything is good and the spacing between the two tips is good. But those pie cuts, when I welded them, they kind of shrank. And so now this tip doesn't fit, it's hitting the bumper. So I have to chop both sides, because that's happening on both sides. Gotta chop the straight piece after the hanger and extend it by, oh, I don't know, like 10 millimeters, that's it. This is all it needed to be extended by on this side. Super annoying I had to do that, but it fits perfectly now. So, glad I did. Well, there it is. The quad tips are in, actually connected, fully welded up and lining up. And then the actual back section is also connected to the main section of the exhaust. And the second hangers are added. So everything is done, technically. We just have to pull it out now, weld it all up, brace up the hangers, and then reassemble this rear under tray. That whole section, way more challenging than I was expecting. It's just getting everything to line up how I'm happy with it, and it just to work. It's a challenge, but it is, fingers crossed. I mean, it's in there, it's good. So, gonna pull it out, weld it up. Now I'm gonna brace up the hangers. Now it's 100% done and we can reinstall it. I'd just like to say from this angle, this exhaust looks beautiful. All of the color on the welds, all the pie cuts, like, it makes this GTR look so much cooler, in my opinion, over the just manufactured exhaust it used to have. But now we're gonna put the tips in. And lastly, back in. Very nice. Shall we hear it? It feels way quieter, actually. Believe it or not. Well, okay, no, it's pretty freaking loud still. Damn! All right, here we go. Will we hear the turbines of the turbos? Ooh, I think so, to be honest. The car's way happier too, actually, revving, I can tell. Damn, crazy. Holy shit. I think it sounds cooler like this, to be honest. Just as much turbo noise. It's a little less raspy. Let's fucking go. It's meant to be. Sunset's that pretty when you're revving your GTR. Not your customer's GTR. It's meant to be. Very cool. All right, so that's gonna be it for this video. No driving, no riding. I hope you guys can understand that that's just something I don't want to risk. You know, I used to be naive and think bad things don't happen. And then I watched my mid-engine Eclipse that I worked for 2 years on burn down in front of me. And I realized bad things do happen. Huge thank you to the owner of this car for letting me be a part of this project. Being able to work on something this nice and this cool, it was so awesome. I'm so blessed. And let me say, this was the hardest project I think I've ever done. Like, sure, I've done some more technical things on like the drift truck and whatnot, but the overall package with like a time frame, you know, the delays, the car, you know, the fitment of the 4 tips, the fitment of the 4-inch pipes, the titanium, the bandsaw. It was a very stressful a couple of weeks. Today, as I'm recording this, I've been at the shop here here at 7 and it's now 9, so 14 hours. It's Monday and I'm posting this tomorrow. So a lot of work. I probably have close to 50 hours of straight work on this exhaust, including the titanium and everything. Obviously that's partly due because of me filming and using the bandsaw and stuff, but that's way more than I was expecting. But I'm happy with the results. I think it sounds awesome, it fits great, and hopefully it'll be able to keep up with 1500 horsepower. It'll certainly flow way better than the old exhaust, because that back Y-pipe was whack. Guys, if you are interested in supporting the channel, please check out Patreon. You can check out the merchandise on iumindustries.com. You can also get parts for your car on iumindustries.com. And if you want work done on your car, you can go to iumindustries.com. iumindustries.com. Go to iumindustries.com. Also, you can support the channel by supporting the sponsor of this video, Reolink. Huge thanks again to them for sponsoring the video. And that's it. Can I say no more exhaust videos? I'm just not gonna say that anymore because at this point, I don't know if that's true. But that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out.